Let's now get into the news purge. The 12-9 news purge. Do you think you've made the right decision this time? And we'll get to where that quote's from in just a little bit. Longtime listeners and readers to the site and show will probably know that throughout the years, the way I do the site and the way I do the show has slowly kind of morphed and changed. A lot of times it's just on what I'm able to do myself as the one-man band behind Media Monarchy. As we've been sending huge thanks to Alan in Omaha for taking up posting duties on cyberspacewar.com. We'll again ask if you've got a little web savvy and have a specialty area, whether that's war or the environment or food, and you'd like to get involved in the Monarchy, of course, send me an email, mediamonarchy@gmail.com. But the news purge is a big list of headlines that I didn't have the time or the space to go into greater detail, but of course these are also important. Just because they're listed in a list of headlines doesn't necessarily mean they shouldn't have been the top of the show. That's the thing with going on right now, like the Chinese proverb, may you live in interesting times. Our times are very interesting. Do you think you've made the right decision this time? We'll start this news purge with 9/11 updates. Of course, that catastrophic catalyzing event that kickstarted an entire new generation of online researchers and web hosts and activists, informing so many other layers of society. 9/11 Truth has helped start Federal Reserve Truth, Vaccine Truth, all those other levels. And again, 9/11 Truth is anti-war. You want to end the wars? You want to help the environment by ending the wars, which are of the most massive environmental degradation going on. The war machine that runs on the terror juice. 9/11 Truth ends wars. So let's start our 9/11 updates with yet another actor, celebrity, dipping their toes into the fishy, smelly waters of the official story of 9/11 Truth. Dukes of Hazzard and Smallville star John Schneider talks 9/11.
9/11 is very interesting. Very interesting. I have no answers. I have questions. I know when I build something and I knock it over, it falls over. It doesn't fall down. So why did it fall? Why did they fall down? Why did they fall down? And did they take out any buildings around them? I don't think so. Have you been to Vegas?
Yes, I have.
Okay. There's a hotel there called New York, New York, right? And what is New York, New York?
It's a reference of New York City.
Exactly. It's the skyline of New York City. So my first thought was, wow, it's going to be interesting because what are they going to do with the Twin Towers and the skyline of New York City? Because every time you see the skyline of New York City, up until then, it was always on the Twin Towers side, right? Why did they build New York, New York before 9/11 without the Twin Towers in it? They didn't take them down. They were never there. Why? Find somebody to answer that question. I want to know.
Interesting angle from John Schneider. I was not familiar with the New York, New York hotel in Las Vegas that was built without the iconic Twin Towers in the skyline pre-9/11. Synchronicity, synchromysticism. And I can't remember, that's John Schneider, he's the blonde one. I can't remember if that's Bo or Luke Duke, but that's neither here nor there. Our other 9/11 updates, Pentagon Papers whistleblowers call for new 9/11 investigation. Let's see if that gets as much coverage as their support for Assange. The main players in releasing the Pentagon Papers were Daniel Ellsberg and Senator Mike Gravel. Ellsberg is, of course, the former military analyst and famed whistleblower who smuggled the Pentagon Papers out of the Rand Corporation. Senator Mike Gravel is the person who read the Pentagon Papers into the congressional record. This act made the papers public record so that they could not be censored by the government. Ellsberg and Gravel are receiving a lot of media attention right now for their support of WikiLeaks, but little attention has been paid to Ellsberg and Gravel's support for a new 9/11 investigation. Ellsberg says that the case of a certain 9/11 whistleblower is, quote, far more explosive than the Pentagon Papers, end quote. He also said that the government is ordering the media to cover up her allegations about 9/11. This would, I believe, be Sibel Edmonds. Or is it about Karen Kwiatkowski? GOP senators block 9/11 health bill, and of course this plays into the phony left-right paradigm. Senate Republicans on Thursday blocked a bill that would have provided money for medical aid to ailing World Trade Center workers, dealing a blow to those sickened in service to the country. The Republicans voted against moving the James Zadroga 9/11 Health and Compensation Act to the formal debate until the Bush tax breaks are extended for millionaires and billionaires. The failed vote drew the ire of New York Mayor and billionaire Michael Bloomberg. Layer upon layer. Again, we're doing the news purge, and we go alphabetical through the topics. Biowars and EnviroHealth are up next. VaccineNewsDaily.com reporting that Obama has declared National Flu Vaccination Week for December 5th through the 11th. So you guys, tomorrow is the 11th. You better hurry and get your squalene live polio virus thimerosal nerve disease vaccine. Which reminds me, I'll admit to you, I subscribe to Vanity Fair. Always good stuff on the Kennedys in there. And there'll be interesting articles, such as in the latest issue, one about the death industry, and that would be the pharmaceutical industry knowingly shipping tainted drugs worldwide to kill folks we care even less about than the American folks. There's also an article called The Quaid Conspiracy. So we'll probably have to dive into both of those in the future. However, back through our BioWars and EnviroHealth updates, Toronto police arrest 12-year-old boy for refusing a vaccination at school. More on that from wellnessuncovered.com. FoodSafetyNews.com reporting, as we did to you several weeks ago, Haiti's cholera outbreak likely from UN troops. The chemtrail cover-up continues. Rosalind Peterson has given an exclusive big new interview. Both of those are available, again, over on Prison Planet. Spraying the Skies, you can download and check out a 1975 patent for a powder contrail generation, or generator, if you will. We even have the StarTribune.com reporting on chemtrails. One of the blogs there, Paul Douglas on weather. Weather headlines for people in a hurry. He talks about the Clippers. Friday night's Clippers. Is that the sports team? Is that what he's talking about? I don't know. I don't care. The thing that's buried in this news blurbs is chemtrails. Urban legend or valid concern. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I believe men really did walk on the moon, and by now you probably know where I stand on the issue of climate change. A friend loaned me a DVD, and I approached the topic of chemtrails skeptically, but the more I watched, the more hard empirical evidence was produced about an apparent spike in aluminum, barium, and strontium levels on the ground, heavy metals that weren't there 10 to 20 years ago, and I began to wonder if something really might be up. The theory, either government agencies or rogue billionaires, or if there's any damn difference between the two, are experimenting in the stratosphere, spraying the upper levels of the atmosphere with tiny bits of chaff in an attempt to geoengineer climate change, literally cool the earth by spraying these heavy metals. We've all noticed those days when contrails seem to be far more numerous, when they crisscross the sky, forming a hazy, milky appearance, a dirty sky. I chalked it up to jet contrails, but now I'm taking a second look. So there you have it. Paul Douglas, a weatherman, on StarTribune.com, coming around to chemtrail truth. Our last BioWars EnviroHealth note, sources originally to the Old Gray Lady, to the New York Times, but Ethan Huff, writing for Natural News, notes New York City to deploy more emergency ambulances to harvest victims' organs. The organ trade is another massive underbelly of the black ops and gangsters and serial killers that seized control generations ago. A couple of drug war notes. Marijuana cuts tumor growth by 50%. That's from preventdisease.com. And at least, thankfully, a positive note, another positive note. Those are two positive drug war notes. Bill Hicks would be proud. TakePart.com notes, Bach, not bullets. Youth Symphony in Ciudad Juarez defies Mexico's drug war. That'll make you feel a little better. And again, we'd like to believe that media and the arts connect us all and could save us all. We now move to our holy hexes, and oh my God. Creationism theme park controversy continues in Kentucky.
Believe it or not, they are arguing about Noah's Ark in the Heartland tonight and whether it's right to use taxpayer dollars to build it.